President Biden recently announced a new mandate requiring vaccinations for millions of American workers.
And now Dr. Anthony Fauci says he supports a vaccine mandate for air travel as well. Joining us now with more insight on that, Washington Post correspondent Hannah Sampson. Hannah, thanks for being with us tonight. You know, after that announcement from the administration here, for large employers anyway, it seems like a major signal of where things are going here. Why not for air travel, and what would be the blowback if that was the mandate?
So the words that we hear coming from the airline industry are that it would be logistically difficult, it would be cumbersome, it would be not something that they see happening. So the industry is not in favor of this, and the administration seems to be not ready to pull that trigger so far in this effort to get more people vaccinated. They think the workplaces will do pretty well, so it seems like they want to see how that goes before they move it up a notch.
Hannah, is there a precedent for that type of mandate in the United States? Are any other countries doing something similar?
I mean, if we as Americans want to go to many other countries in the world, we would have to be vaccinated to go and visit them, even Canada, just to the north. If we want to go to a Broadway show, we'd have to be vaccinated. If we want to go to any number of restaurants or big events, you have to be vaccinated. So it's not unheard of to have the vaccine if you want to take some kind of vacation or do something that's involved in travel. Go on pretty much any cruise, you have to be vaccinated. So, you know, it's not something that nobody has done or nobody has had to do.
You know, when you just think about the logistics, you know, you're in a tube that's flying through the air, compressed air. People are sitting right next to you. Everybody's supposed to wear a mask. Don't most Americans sort of support that idea, or what do surveys out there inform you on that subject?
I don't, you know, I don't have a number in terms of air travel. Based on our comments, Washington Post readers are very much in favor of that. But the point that the industry makes is that because the air is flowing, the way that they filter the air and have airflow going through the planes, and other levels of safety, that air travel is a pretty safe thing to do. But as you said, if you're sitting next to somebody on a plane who is infected and not vaccinated, you know, you can't get away from them for any number of hours. So, you know, there is a lot of support among consumers, but of course you have how much of the population not vaccinated yet, how many of those people are very dug in their feelings that they don't want to get vaccinated. There's certainly a large number of people who wouldn't fly and who would very much not be in support of this kind of action.
What other steps are individual airlines taking in terms of mandating vaccines at this point?
So we've seen a few airlines actually mandate vaccination for their employees, United being the largest example. There are other airlines that are offering their employees incentives, or even charging them money if they don't, charging them extra insurance premiums if they don't get vaccinated. So you see kind of the carrot and the stick in the airline industry for their employees, but not really for their passengers, for their customers. We're seeing that way more in the cruise industry, where they're really requiring vaccines for their passengers almost across the board.
Hannah, Congressman Don Beyer from Virginia introduced a bill that would require vaccine mandates for domestic air travel. I think I know the answer to this, but how likely is that to make any headway?
I think, as we've seen, opinions are sharply divided in this country, and that is reflected in Congress. So I wouldn't call it a sure bet. You know, I think it's a strong stance, and it starts a conversation. But I'm not sure I'm not sure I could tell the fortune of that one.
Well, we're getting up on the holidays, and people are booking their travel now. So I'm glad we were focused on this. Hannah Sampson at the Washington Post. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much.